Welcome to another episode of Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I'm Laura Cotter.
And I'm Skye Orchard.
And we're so happy to have you back with us. I had mentioned back when we did the Violent Femmes episode that I was like, why isn't there a Violent Femmes song playing when she's at the very end when she's flying around the city? And so I finally opened up the box set of DVDs that I bought a long time ago and rewatched just that specific scene. And I realized the box set I bought was so cheap because it was a re-release from like 10 years ago instead of 20 years ago. And so they've stripped all the original music on it. If there was a Violent Femmes song in that episode, but I still think it's the same music as is in the streaming. So I still don't know if there was actually a different song in there. So if anybody has the old DVDs and knows, because I did read something on Reddit about how the music is different, but I do not know how different because I only have post-streaming stuff.
It will be a mystery until someone tells us. Going back to another episode quickly. So last episode we had First Kiss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in episode 2, Bunt Friday, you had me guess when they would have their first kiss. And I guessed at the end of the season there. And I feel like out of 24 is fairly close.
That's pretty close. We're 3/4 of the way, or 2/3 of the way. I don't math.
So, little pat on the back there to myself. And then to turn things around, Laura, I have a question for you.
Oh, good. I'm excited.
Would you ever drink the hair soup?
I don't need to drink the hair soup. I have the opposite problem. I have so much hair on my head and it grows so fast. Definitely due for another haircut, which is going to be this weekend because my bangs are getting long again. I would not need to drink the hair soup. That is not an issue for me. And judging by my mother's hair, it's not ever going to be an issue for me.
If it were to become an issue, though, would you consider it?
Yes, because I'm very vain about my hair. It's like the one thing that I'm very vain about. So if I was to start losing my hair, yes, I'd absolutely drink the hair soup. Would you drink the hair soup?
Not as of now. My hair is very thick. That's why I live the undercut life and will do that probably for the rest of time there. Yeah, I don't care about the side effects. So if I ever did need to drink hair soup, I'll just embrace it there.
Oh, side effects because she overdoes it. I would do like the correct amount. Now I get what you're asking. Would I risk the side effects? You know what? Yes, electrolysis exists. I would risk the side effects.
Have you ever done those like beard and mustache filters on Instagram?
Oh, I did one time. Made you look like an older man, and I looked exactly like my father. Once it put on a beard and like some wrinkles, I was like, yep, that's my dad.
Nice.
Have you?
Oh yeah, I've done some filters.
I don't know. So like when I get hairy legs, it drives me insane. Not from a like social perspective, but just from the fact that like I feel like there's something on my body that needs to come off. So I don't know how I would do it with a full-grown beard. I think that would drive me up the wall. I think I'd be shaving like twice a day.
I had a friend in high school. He was a little older than me. He had to literally shave every day as a 17-year-old, or else he would have just a full beard. Once he showed up on like the morning school video news, whatnot, and it was just him in the background shaving his beard for the day.
So let's get into our episode. This is season 1, episode 18, titled Sweet Charity. Our TV guide description: Sabrina turns herself into born leader Libby in hopes of boosting student turnout at a senior citizen program. But the plan backfires when the real Libby shows up and snags Sabrina's Nana. Alternatively, the Hulu description: when Sabrina uses Libby's likeness to promote a community service program, the real Libby manages to steal the limelight.
I don't know how I feel about born leader Libby. Maybe stretching a little.
But in Geek Like Me, we've shown that Libby, wherever she goes, just commands the situation.
That's true, that's true.
So I don't think it's an unfair assessment of Libby's character. Whether people like it or not, she will be the leader in the room.
Libby.
This originally aired March 7th, 1997. Peter Baldwin is returning as our director. And our writer for this episode is Nell Scoville.
Okay, it has taken me this long, and maybe we already talked about it, and I just don't have any sort of memory anymore. But at the end of the opening credits, it says that Nell Scoville created Sabrina. I thought they were just a writer who liked to pop up and give us phrases that would make a good drinking game, and here all along, Nell was our creator, writer, executive producer, just doing everything.
Yeah, now that our episodes are releasing, and I'm listening to them, looking back in the first episode, I really should should have done more on like the creators of the show. And like, I didn't talk at all about the main stars. I just assumed everybody knew everything about them. So like, maybe I should have done that in episode 1. It's too late now. It's episode 18. I'm not going back and doing that. Do your own research. We have a few guest stars. Karen Morrow as Nana. She was in a TV series from 1977 to 1978 called Tabitha, which is a spin-off of Bewitched about the daughter of Darren and Samantha.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting little witchy tie-in. She was also in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, Starsky and Hutch, Night Court, and Murder, She Wrote. Then we have Alan Young as Mr. Barry, was in Mr. Ed, The 1960 Time Machine. He is known as Scrooge McDuck. He was in The Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, and General Hospital. Melissa Marie Much and Bridget Flannery are back as Cece and Jill. James Fields is back as Howard, and Angelo Vacco is the delivery guy. He was also in another TGIF show, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, as well as Chicago Hope, X-Files, and The Morning Show. What are your overall thoughts on this show, Skye, on this episode?
I don't think it will be a memorable one in my brain. However, once again, the actress playing Libby kills it.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy these episodes where we get to see her acting prowess at full. I appreciated that.
I agree. Libby does a fantastic job. Before we started recording, I was telling you that this definitely wasn't memorable for me because I got ahead of myself and did the notes for this last week, thinking that we were recording last week and we weren't. And so today I was trying to remember what this episode was. And I spent several hours trying to be like, wait, what is it? And all I could think about was the next one coming up and the one before. I could not remember what this episode was, even though I just watched a week ago. Not saying it's a bad episode, just saying it's not particularly memorable. It just is. We start with our cold open with Salem singing Witchcraft by Frank Sinatra in the mirror, wearing a fedora and tie.
I instantly thought we got a musical episode, especially since there is a Neil Simon musical called Sweet Charity. And I was like, oh my God, this is why they named it that episode. And then it wasn't, so.
Would that have made this episode better if it was a musical?
The plot of this episode, no. But at this point, I did not know the plot, and so
Okay.
I was here for it.
That's fair. I don't think we ever? We get episodes that have more music in them, but we don't get anything that's like a full-on musical episode, as far as I can remember. And I feel like I would remember that. So Salem singing, Sabrina, Zelda, and Hilda rush in because he sounds so good and they want to hear more. Salem, referring to himself as Yellow Eyes, which is a nod to Frank Sinatra's nickname, Old Blue Eyes, continues singing as Hilda dances and Sabrina and Zelda listen until he starts coughing on a hairball. And when I was watching this, I was like, oh, I want Zelda's outfit because it's a really nice matching loungewear outfit. And last Sunday when I was watching this, I had spent over an hour looking at loungewear outfits that I wanted to buy.
Amazing. Hilda's dancing was an interesting choice for this song. It was almost slower disco arms while turning in circles. You do you, Hilda.
Hilda's had centuries of dancing trends in her brain. At some point, they must short circuit and all become just whatever pops into her head at any moment.
I'll take that.
Our outfit intro is a safari outfit, and Sabrina says, "So fari, so goody." Maybe not my favorite of the outfit intros so far. Sabrina is waving her arm around in front of a table where Jenny is sitting in the cafeteria. She tells Jenny that she doesn't think there's a force field around the table, but Jenny can't understand why no one wants to adopt a grandparent then. Sabrina has a ginger ale with a straw in it on the table in front of her, which is important for later. But also, who drinks a canned soda with a straw? I feel like that was a thing in the 90s for diet culture. For some reason, drinking it through a straw was better, but I don't know anybody who does that now. Unless you're in the hospital and they want you to drink slowly and then they give you a little straw. Libby walks up to the table to tell them about her community service program, Adopt a Life, then calls Sabrina and Jenny Freak and Frizzy Freak.
I admittedly thought Adopt a Life might be like a pet charity or something like that. Then I got the burn afterwards.
You thought Libby was being sincere in her charity efforts?
Yeah, for a moment there. I got bamboozled by Libby.
You're not the first person, and you won't be the last. Sabrina tells Jenny not to try to fight her and instead zaps one of Libby's socks to be a different color.
When Libby walks up to Jill and Cece after the sock zapping, she asks what's wrong and they say some foreign exchange students are sitting at their table, to which Libby replies, deport them. Not the best joke. Just calling that out.
This is going to be released well after whoever is our new president has been sworn into office. So I don't know how this will play in February of 2025. Do we think Libby would be a Trumper in this day and age?
Oh, God. I think she might be.
I think she might be. Anyway, that's depressing.
Yeah. And we're done with this episode.
Future selves, please tell us we have good news. So Jill and Cece notice Libby's sock and start to laugh at Libby, but Libby forces them to switch their socks to turn it into a trend. Meanwhile, Sabrina is forcing Harvey to loudly sign up for Jenny's program, hoping to get other people to join. The scene flips, and Jenny is putting away their table, glad that they at least filled in the sign-up sheet, but the names are all Harvey and Mighty Mouse. To make matters worse, Sabrina hears Libby and her friends making fun of another girl whose socks match. And did you notice that when they were cleaning up, the adopt a grandparent sign has a stork carrying a grandparent on it?
No, I wish I had.
It was pretty awesome. Hilda is making hair soup in the kitchen to get longer hair. Zelda returns from the bookstore handing Hilda Cat Fancy and Salem New Republic. I didn't know what the New Republic is. Did you know what the New Republic is, Skye?
Not at all.
It's an American left-wing magazine focused on domestic politics, news, culture, and the arts. The New York Times once said it was partially founded in Teddy Roosevelt's living room and known for its intellectual rigor and left-leaning political views. And I think this is why Salem probably doesn't like it, because he seems to not be super left-wing himself. He's probably more of a Wall Street Journal kind of guy. But during this time, I just thought this was interesting. So during this time of 1997, right? 97, which was after the 96 election, Michael Kelly served as the editor for a year. And during his time, he also wrote a column that was intensely critical of Bill Clinton. And then there was like a huge scandal where somebody had been writing under Kelly's editorship was shown to have falsified and fabricated a bunch of stories. They admitted that they were falsified to their New Republic after an investigation by Kelly's successor. It was like a huge thing that, I don't know, maybe we could edit this part out because I thought it was interesting when I was reading it, and now like maybe it's not that interesting. I thought it was interesting that it was this big journal that was left-leaning but critical of Clinton, and then it turns out there was a bunch of false news under them, and I just feel like time is a circle. It is just one big loop. Anyway, back to the show. Hilda notices that Zelda keeps smiling, but Zelda tells her it's nothing. They get into a magical arm-twisting and ear-pulling fight. Zelda admits that she met a man at the bookstore and she gave him her number. The soup lets out a poof, and Hilda pours herself and Salem some of her hair soup. The phone rings and Zelda rushes to answer it. It's the man from the bookstore. So much for Dirk the mailman.
Oh, I forgot about Dirk.
He gave Zelda a Valentine, and then I think in like another earlier episode, there was something else about Dirk the mailman, so screw you, mailman, you're not good enough for Zelda, apparently.
And it looks like your comment is about she's disgusted about a hair in the hair soup.
That is my comment. Hilda says at some point that she is grossed out by finding a hair in her hair soup, but she's the one who made it. It's her own hair. I have a lot of hair. I can't get disgusted by food I make just for myself when it has my own hair in it. Do you feel the same, or you know hair never, ever? Doesn't matter if it's yours or not.
I feel like hair is inevitable, especially since I'm in a house with 5 cats.
Right?
Like I vacuum, I sweep, I brush them, but there's gonna be hair sometimes.
Like if I'm out at a restaurant and I see hair, that's different.
Yeah, but in your own home, it might happen.
For food I made myself, like obviously if I'm making food for other people, I try to be careful and like put my hair back. But if it's my own food and it's just me eating it and I find my own hair, I know my hair is clean because I'm the one who washes it. Like, get over yourself, Hilda. Sabrina walks in and asks who's on the phone, and Hilda taunts a boy. Zelda zaps the cord off the phone to get some privacy. Sabrina is on the way to the senior center and zaps something to bring them. Chewy caramels. Sabrina, Harvey, and Jenny arrive at the senior center. Harvey is excited because he doesn't have to take his earrings out, unlike with his real grandparents. Jenny and Harvey quickly pick out their grandparents, while Sabrina approaches a woman sitting by herself and asks if she can be her grandmother. They introduce themselves and sit awkwardly for a moment before Nana asks if Sabrina wants to look at her scrapbook. Nana starts to talk about the celebrities that she knows. Elijah Wood, Noah Wiley, Christian Slater. At her age, you know just about everybody. Howard has shown up to take pictures for the school paper for Westbridge Cares, but apparently Westbridge doesn't care that much as he looks at the low turnout. Harvey and Jenny wish they had someone cool there that could get other people to sign up, like Libby.
There was an oh Harvey moment. Sabrina says, like Libby, the Lord High Empress of Westbridge. Harvey says, I thought she was sophomore class president. Oh, Harvey.
Oh, Harvey. Also, did we get any indication that Harvey and Sabrina are an item during this episode?
No, we're being retconned in this episode.
Do you think they filmed them out of order?
Maybe.
Okay, because we're not even addressing the kiss.
There's no affection.
We're not even like squealing to Jenny about it. Okay.
Yeah, Harvey and Jenny are all heart eyes for Libby and her power of popularity.
All right, we'll have to see when we get an actual like firm confirmation of the relationship status. Do you think they still haven't said that they're actually dating? Do you think they're just like, oh, we went on a date and we kissed each other, that we like each other?
Neither of them have the courage to DTR. I just want them to DTR.
Maybe because I'm old and I don't have time for that nonsense. You got to do that early. You got to take care of that stuff.
DTR or move on.
Maybe they could fake Libby being there. Harvey's dad says Russia's on their third Boris Yeltsin, which is actually not a too far out there conspiracy theory. This is a thing, and if you go to Wikipedia, under political decoys, it has a Boris Yeltsin section.
Ooh.
Jenny scoffs, you can't fake a person. Sabrina gets an idea and excuses herself out to the hallway where she zaps herself to look like Libby, closing the door in a phone booth with a glass door that you can clearly see through. Libby steps out and checks herself in the mirror before going back inside. Harvey and Jenny are shocked to see Libby. She's there just in time to take the picture for the newspaper and ask the photographer to quote her saying, "Old people are the coolest." Libby leaves now that the photographer is gone, and Harvey and Jenny still can't get over it. It's a good thing there's a photo, or else Sabrina will think they pulled a Yeltsin. Sabrina returns, and they excitedly tell her that Libby was just there. Sabrina is shocked. Jenny runs down the hallway the next day holding the newspaper with a photo on the front page. Sabrina asks if Libby has seen it, but we hear Libby scream as an answer. She can't believe it. It's a fake. Jill and Cece don't believe her. Libby asks Harvey to confirm that she wasn't there, but he tells her that she did a good thing. She claims she's been framed. Harvey doesn't understand what's going on, but Sabrina tells him Libby must have multiple personalities, and they finally met the nice one. Mr. Poole is introducing the class lesson on site, but Libby stops him, trying to correct the story. Before she can, Mr. Poole says how proud he is of them, and the class claps for them. Libby is obviously pleased. Sabrina chimes in that she hopes more people will join them today, but Libby points out that she didn't see Sabrina there. Sabrina's confused. Hilda is practicing her violin when Zelda walks in. Hilda's hair has grown a lot, and now she has mutton chops due to a second bowl of hair soup. This is why I said I drink the hair soup, because if you just stop at one, you just get some lovely hair. It's when you get on to the second bowl that you get the unwanted facial hair.
But how much soup do you think Salem's had? Because he just asked for a cup. And he is pretty long, frizzy. He calls himself a hippie.
But he's also smaller. He doesn't need as much. A cup for Hilda is going to do less than a cup for a cat. And you don't give cats the same dose of medicine that you give to humans.
Fine. I'll accept your logic.
We know Salem has no self-control. He would absolutely drink the whole thing. He cannot control himself.
Do you think hair soup tastes good?
If they're drinking this much of it, like, it better taste good.
Also, I think Salem got the short end of the stick, because when Hilda's describing it at the top of the episode, it's like long, luscious locks, and Salem just looks like he's been electrocuted later on, so...
Maybe it doesn't work as well for cats. Maybe you need fur soup for a cat, not hair soup. Also, the only thing I could think about, did you ever read Ella Enchanted?
Oh, yeah.
You know the unicorn soup, the unicorn hair soup when she's sick?
Yeah.
That's the thing that's in my brain. So I imagine hair soup with strands of hair in it, which sounds kind of terrible. As I just said, I don't mind having hair in my food. I don't go out of my way to purposely put it in my food.
I just keep thinking of like polyjuice potion.
Yeah, another one.
Sludgy and yeah.
So I guess the line is, I don't mind accidental hair. I do mind purposeful hair.
That's a good line. That's a line we should have clarified earlier when we were just like, yeah, I'd eat my own hair. It's fine.
Also, I'm like, imagine like one strand accidentally versus like 10 or 15 strands of hair purposefully.
We're not crazy, we swear.
Also, I pick the hair off once I see it. I don't keep it in my food and continue to eat. Sorry, everybody. I'm grossing myself out. Zelda says she looks like Greg Allman, who is a singer-songwriter from the Allman Brothers Band. They start talking about Zelda's date with Rick, but it didn't go well. Zelda felt old during their conversation. He kept talking about the turn of the century, but Zelda's done that 5 times. So at least we're being consistent in our inconsistent claim that the answer's 600 years old. At least when they talk about their age, it's generally correct, even though it doesn't always make sense. Hilda tries to convince her not to break up with him, but they are interrupted by a very fluffy Salem. Nana gives Sabrina some fudge from Pete Sampras, who is a tennis player, because I didn't know that. The chocolate turtles are from Leonardo DiCaprio. Sabrina notices Jill and Cece leaving and gets up to stop them. They only came because they thought Libby would be there. Sabrina tells them to wait because maybe Libby will come. There's an actor in the background of this part, Jenny's grandma. And I don't know if it's a wig or not, but she has the most amazing long curly gray hair. And that's what I want my hair to look like when I'm old.
She's been doing the hair soup properly.
And by when I'm old, I mean in 5 years. Sabrina goes into the hallway and zaps herself back into her Libby persona. Jill and Cece are surprised she's there. Libby says hi to Jenny, then joins Nana, saying Sabrina had to leave. Nana offers her a turtle. Harvey is playing chess with his grandparent and wins. His adopted grandpa is so cute when he clearly lets Harvey win. He's like, oh, look at that. You beat me. He offers to get Libby a soda when he goes to get his winning soda, and Libby accepts while picking her nose. As he gets the soda, the real Libby shows up. He gives her the soda, but she's confused. What kind of freak drinks ginger ale? Harvey insists that she asked for it and says he liked her other personality better, even if she does pick her nose. The real Libby is even more confused. When Harvey returns to his chess match, the fake Libby asks where her soda is, and Harvey tells her that she called it a freak drink. Fake Libby starts to protest, but then realizes that the real Libby must be here. She runs out to the hallway where the real Libby is kicking the soda machine. Fake Libby kicks an old man out of the phone booth to change back to Sabrina, just in time to greet Libby. Sabrina goes back into the room while Libby greets Jill and Cece, who claim she was already there. Sabrina tells Libby to pick a grandparent and Nana calls her over. Libby goes with her since she seems to already know her. Sabrina stands back with Jenny to admire all the students there. And it's all thanks to Libby, Jenny says. Sabrina's shocked. Libby? Jenny insists that she's nice, but Sabrina is doubtful. And Jenny's sweater just kept making me think about cherry pie during this whole conversation.
I actually thought about pie too. I was like, that is a lattice work.
That is a pie sweater, which is appropriate, I guess, for going to a retirement home. Libby is bonding with Nana over Johnny Depp when Sabrina comes to join them, but Libby stops her. This is her Nana now. Sabrina is lying on her bed and calls the now bearded Hilda over to talk about her problem. Sabrina complains that Libby is being nice. She got involved with the program and now she's queen of the senior center. Hilda points out that at least more people are involved in the program now. When Libby wins, everybody wins. But Libby stole Sabrina's grandparent, and now all the good ones are taken, which begs if Sabrina's actually as good as we think she is. Hilda tells her that charity is its own reward, which is rich coming from Hilda. Everyone is bonding with their grandparents as Sabrina tries to get to know hers. Harvey is learning how much fun the Great Depression was, and Nana is telling Libby about Ethan Hawke. Sabrina is reading from a book about Hawaii to her grandparent, who is now asleep. Sabrina is leaving when Libby stops her in the hallway. Why is she going home so soon? Sabrina's grandparent was asleep the whole 2 hours, except when she told her how immigrants are ruining the country.
And there's our second foreigners comment of the episode.
So maybe Libby should have gotten together with this grandma because they could have talked about that together. At least Sabrina seems uncomfortable with the fact that the grandmother decided to spout off this nonsense.
Yes, at least there is that.
Libby pretends to feel sad, but brags about her own relationship with Nana and thanks Sabrina for this. Sabrina zaps Libby's socks back to the same color in an effort to be petty, which we've just gone a long way from Sabrina turning this girl into a pineapple to now messing with her socks as revenge. I mean, kudos to her. In 18 episodes, she's gained some control over her powers. Hilda is signing for some flowers at the front door, which did poor Milan Dirk deliver the flowers from another man?
Oh, maybe. Or is this the delivery guy that was credited?
Oh, maybe it's a separate flower delivery guy. So Hilda's signing for some flowers and is even more bearded when she turns around. Zelda says that Rick won't give up when she gets the flowers and looks for a place to put them amongst many other flower arrangements. Hilda tries again to convince Zelda to give him a chance. Age is just a number. She's 612 but doesn't look it. And now we have an exact age, so Hilda was born in 1385.
We did it.
We did it. Zelda points out that the beard makes her look older, but she might be right. There's a lot of things she likes about Rick, and maybe he'll mature. Zelda thanks Hilda, and they hug, getting Hilda's beard stuck on Zelda's button. Mr. Poole is teaching the class about hearing while Libby and friends whisper and pass gossip around the class. Mr. Poole stops them to point out that he can hear the whispers. He asks what it's about and a student whispers in his ear, causing Mr. Poole to exclaim, "Libby's going to meet Ethan Hawke?" Libby says it's because she did a good deed, causing Sabrina to laugh out loud. Mr. Poole asks what's so funny, and Sabrina covers by saying the word cochlea. Libby confronts Sabrina about laughing at her in the hallway after class. Sabrina admits it's because she didn't think Libby would be so gullible. Nana doesn't actually know any of those celebrities. Libby protests that she's seen the scrapbook, but so has Sabrina, and it's all cutouts from magazines. There's no real proof. Libby asks if Leo really didn't make the turtles. Sabrina tells her to just eat it and let the sugar comfort her. Libby can't believe it. The whole time with Nana has been a waste, but she still made an old woman happy, Sabrina points out. Libby doesn't care. If she could sue, she would. It was just announced to the whole class that she was going to meet Ethan Hawke, which will now spread to the whole school. Libby is humiliated, but she's not going to let Nana get away with this. She's going to go down to the senior center to rip Nana a new Afghan, which I laughed at harder than I should have. Sabrina tries to stop her, but Libby stomps away. Libby then stomps into the senior center, yelling at Nana. Nana cheerfully greets her, but Libby keeps yelling at her. Nana told her she was going to meet Ethan Hawke. Nana just told her a tall tale. Libby tells her she's going to be teased about this for a long time. Nana apologizes, but that isn't enough. Libby yells and insults her some more before storming out. Nana chases after her, but Libby walks away. Nana turns around, clearly delighted by how mad Libby was, and then she turns back into Sabrina. Did you see that coming, Skye?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
They got me.
Just in time as the real Nana walks down the hallway and greets her. She admits that Sabrina was right. She enjoyed her walk. Sabrina breaks the news that Libby won't be returning, and Nana admits she's going to miss her. The two go to see a movie. Ethan Hawke has a new one out, but he did not. His last movie was in 1995, and Gattaca wouldn't come out until October of 1997. There was no new Ethan Hawke movie at this time.
I have a friend who met Ethan Hawke while he was in Park City for Sundance. My friend was the waitress for him. He's very nice, is what I hear.
Sabrina returns home, happily greeting a freshly shaved Hilda. They hear Zelda laughing and talking in the room, and Hilda tells Sabrina that Zelda has Rick over. Sabrina can't contain her curiosity and bursts into the front room, only to see Harvey's adopted grandparent, Mr. Barry, on the couch with Zelda. Zelda asks how they know each other, and Mr. Barry admits that they met at the senior center. Zelda tells him that Sabrina is her niece, but Mr. Barry says she looks far too young for that. They flirt some more, and a disgusted Sabrina excuses herself.
Okay, what is Zelda's type? We have Mr. Poole. We have a firefighter who calls her kitten specifically. We have Dirk the mailman that I completely forgot about. And now we have Mr. Barry. Where is the Venn diagram of these men?
Dirk the mailman is not her type, though, because she won't go out with him and she won't acknowledge him. He is an unrequited love. So we need to know more about Dirk to figure out what is not Zelda's type. I don't know. Now I'm remembering because she called herself, her screen name is Chem Kitten.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants the firefighter to call her Kitten. All right, Zelda. Zelda's love life, by the way, is just going to get more confusing. It's not going to get better. It just gets worse.
Cool. I will start drawing the circles for the Venn diagram.
In her bedroom, Sabrina finds a very hairy Salem who ate way too much hair soup. He pathetically begs Sabrina to groom him.
This poor Salem puppet.
I love that gift, though, so much. Groom me.
Just saying a lot for a cat. A long-haired cat grooming that cat?
No.
That's how you die.
Get it cut. Get a haircut. In our end tag, Hilda runs upstairs asking if Zelda ate the tuna noodle casserole she put in the fridge. Zelda did not, but tells her to check with Salem. Hilda looks worried and admits she threw in the leftover hair soup. So it must taste somewhat good if you can throw it in a tuna noodle casserole.
Okay, but do you like tuna noodle casserole?
I never had tuna noodle casserole.
Stay away from it.
Okay. I mean, I liked a tuna fish sandwich.
Maybe you'd like it.
I don't like hot tuna. Like tuna melts. That's gross.
I think hair soup is equivalent to tuna noodle casserole, so just stay away.
Okay, I will. Hilda hates throwing away food. Sabrina comes out of her room sporting a goatee and mustache. The aunts look at each other and Hilda quips, "Not Salem." Sabrina feels her face and screams, running back into her bedroom. So it must not taste that terrible if Sabrina ate a good chunk of it in the middle of the night. Maybe it makes the tuna noodle casserole taste better.
Maybe it takes out the tuna. Leave that for Salem.
I feel like we got through this episode really quickly. Did we not talk a lot? We did not.
It was a fun episode to watch, Libby, but there wasn't a lot behind it.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know. If I was to end it, I think the more fun ending would be if Nana showed up at the senior center with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, that's actually what I was expecting because they've had so many guest stars. I was like, oh, they got Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
We're going to see it.
I mean, and I know like that goes against the moral of the story, which is like just do a good deed to do a good deed. Though we already had Sabrina screwing with that moral by talking about how all the good grandparents were gone and not wanting to participate anymore when she got stuck with the sleepy grandparent.
I admittedly just thought when you said there was a moral to the story, I was like, oh, they put a moral to this story?
The moral of the story is don't drink too much hair soup.
Yeah. Libby will be popular no matter what.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry we weren't as funny in this episode. We'll try again.
Promise we don't eat hair as much as we made it seem. I don't eat cat fur regularly. It's just an example.
This is not my strange diction. Well, if you stayed till the very end, you got some laughter. So there you go. Congratulations for making it through. Next episode should be a good one. I think Skye, I think you'll like this one particularly because it's season 1, episode 19, Cat Showdown.
Whoa.
What's it about? What do you think it's going to be about?
I think there are 2 options here.
Okay.
1, my lady comes back.
Oh.
And it's Sabrina versus my lady in some sort of showdown for magic. Or 2, we get Cat Fight Club. Technically not allowed to talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it next week. Only 2 options.
I don't think Salem would do well in Cat Fight Club.
No, not at all. But he could wheedle his way into getting the other cats to fight, and he steps in the background and lets them do all the hard work.
Okay. We will see next week. It will be a better episode than this one. I will at least guarantee you that. In the meantime, you can like, share, rate, and subscribe. You can email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod and TikTok at something.witchy.pod. Until next time.
Stay. Voice keeps cracking.
Do you have hair in your throat?
Maybe. Stay magical.